came out to Oceanside, California today to meet up with Kadillac, who's a mixed martial arts fighter. We had his home personal gym out here in Oceanside. And in a minute he's going to come out, he's going to talk about the life of an MMA fighter, and he's also going to show us some of his moves that he uses to get ready for all his fights. How'd you get the name Kadillac?
A long time ago, I used to do backyard fights. Like everybody tries to, say Kimbo's the original backyard fighter. I've been doing it since '97. But I fought a guy for money, and he turned around and didn't have the money, so he had an old school Cadillac that was out in front of his house. So I ended up getting a pink slip for that. So that's kind of how I got my fight name. I've been doing like martial arts since I was like 5. I did judo and Aikido when I was younger. And I started doing wrestling in high school, right out here in Vista, California. Became a senior national champion. Started doing backyard fighting, and then I started doing jiu-jitsu. So I started doing mixed martial arts. Now I was just a straight wrestler with a little bit of judo and Aikido background, but I know in this line of sport, you have to be mixed martial arts, you have to learn all different styles. So I started learning Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, different kinds of standing and groundwork. I started fighting before I really knew everything. Like I said, 13 years, I was just graduating from high school, so. And that's why I used to see it on TV, and I knew it was an underground thing. So back then it was illegal in California. It didn't become legal in California until 2006. So I've been doing it since '97 out here in different states.
Before it was legal, you were doing it out here?
Yeah, it just barely became legal in 2006 out here. But I've been doing it for years. It's an underground thing. Like I said, you didn't have a big crowd. You had at most like 10, 20 people at the most that would be there. So mixed martial arts is it's a variety of learning different styles of martial arts. Like I said, boxing, wrestling. To be a true mixed martial arts fighter, you have to know judo, which is ground game, aikido, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling, which are all ground games with submissions. You gotta learn stand up with kickboxing, boxing. So you just gotta learn a variety of all kind of different things to become a mixed martial artist. That's the whole point of the sport. When it first started, you had a guy that was a black belt in judo, and that's all he knew, and a black belt just in kickboxing, and you had a professional boxer. But back in the day when it first started, wrestlers and grapplers are the ones that dominated, just because majority of the fights ended up on the ground. And when you're a straight professional boxer or a kickboxer or a karate person or a taekwondo, you're not used to being on the ground. So whatever power and strategy you have goes out the window if you don't learn the other styles about being on the ground, or how to defend a wrestler, or how to defend a jiu-jitsu artist.
Do you get in fights like just regularly?
No, I don't get paid. Yeah, no one can pay. I mean, I've been doing security for 13 years. I've never once had to put my hands on nobody to physically even take them out. I mean, I don't know. I can't get in. I couldn't even see myself fighting on the street. I was never like that before either way. So, and now this is more of a discipline, because people don't understand when they start learning these different styles, you become a lethal weapon. So as much, if me and another person got in a competition on the street, basically I have to be defending my life to be in an altercation with them just because of that, because of me knowing what I know. So I mean, no, I could never see myself fighting on the street. I don't get paid to fight on the street. So, like I said, you're considered, your whole body's considered a lethal weapon now.
Right. I know a lot of people say that they see someone fight or somebody big, they just instantly say that, oh, they must be taking like, steroids or enhancement drugs. Is that true?
Majority of the time it is true, and that's because, like I said, it's another mental situation. A guy feels that, well, that guy is much bigger and stronger. If I take these, because that person took these, kind of enhancement drugs and all that, I could be like on the same level, and that's what I'm saying. It's just a mental thing. The thing is that either you're a fighter or you're not. For me, I don't feel that you, and I don't believe you should take some kind of drug enhancement to help your performance, you know what I mean? Because that's not you, you know what I mean? And that's what I say later on when you get, yeah, you'll be fine now, but later on down the line, your body's just gonna be so worn out and tore up, but you won't feel it at the time because you're constantly putting stuff in your body so you don't feel it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a lot of guys do take a lot of enhancements and everything, but that's something I really I don't believe in it. I don't feel that you're a true fighter if you do, you know, take enhancements.
Do they have testing?
All depends on where you're at, and all depends on who you are. See, everybody thinks that everybody takes drug tests in different organizations. That's not true. You know what I mean? You have your favorite fighters, so a lot of times they don't drug test them. You know, you get guys that I've known for over 12, 13 years is look, you know, just huge. You know, they've only been tested like 7 times, which, you know, and I've known them, you know, I know they've been taking stuff since I've known them, but like I said, it all depends. If there's like someone that's like curious, then maybe sometimes the organization will drug test you, but most of the time they don't. So a person can be on any kind of drug, you know, any kind of drug they want to, and a lot of times they don't, you know, I mean, any kind of drug enhancement, and you know, I fought in guys that's all coked out on crystal meth, you know, just steroids, all at the same time. So I mean, that's just the chances you gotta take, especially going to different countries and stuff. But it's just, you gotta be focused. Like I try to say, this is not a lot of guys again this thing that, oh, I was on the street and I knocked out like 10 people, you know, in the last couple of years, so I'm gonna do, you know, cage fighting. Now don't get me wrong, you may catch, a street fighter may catch, you know, beat a good mixed martial artist every once in a while. But like I try to say, that's gonna wear out because people, you got YouTube, you got everything that's on the computer now. So if anything you do that's recorded, they're gonna go watch it, they're gonna study you. You know what I mean? So if you're known, like I try to say, the same thing with the guy Kimbo. Everybody's been calling left and right, I wanna fight Kimbo, I wanna fight Kimbo, because everybody knows he's lazy in the grappling world. You know, he'll do the stand-up, but we know, and I've known him and seen him at the gyms down in LA, he chooses not to do grappling. You know, so when you one-dimension yourself like that, of course a lot of people are gonna wanna fight you.
But for someone who doesn't know what grappling is, what's that?
Grappling is like jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, sambo, anything that has to do with wrestling or taking someone down with submissions. So that's what they consider grappling now. It's just like a high school wrestler, collegiate, college wrestler, as well as anybody that's mixed with anything that has to do with being on the ground or anything like that's grappling. You know what I mean? So I just try to teach everybody mixed martial arts. What you're trying to get into this cage fighting and mixed martial arts is you have to learn different martial arts.
You don't like to be compared to Kimbo Slice?
Well, yeah, I don't. Well, because he's not actual a cage fighter. He's not a mixed martial artist. He was basically how he got his name out there was that his promoter owned I think over 300 porn sites, and they put his fight on each one of those. So that's how he became a real big person, you know, real known. He wasn't known for, you know, and everybody that don't really know the concept of fighting, they think that he's fighting other guys that know how to fight, and that's not what it is. And on top of that, he had rules that were just straight boxing. That's not mixed martial arts. So yeah, I don't like to be, but I was original backyard fighter before Kimbo was even existed. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't like to be considered, because I've challenged the guy. I try to, you know, fight him since he's trying to consider himself the king of the backyard, you know, fighting. That I challenged him to, we're the same weight class, but he won't do it. And you know, his managers and them are like, you know, we want you to train him, not fight him. So I don't know. I don't consider him as a fighter. I don't respect him as a fighter. So I don't know. Yeah, I like to be considered as him. But I go to different countries, and no one, you know, they don't know the real concept about the sport, and that's the first thing they always ask me is, when are you gonna fight Kimbo? When are you gonna fight Kimbo? And it gets kind of annoying sometimes, but I mean, I can't wait till it happens, just because he's trying to represent the name of him being an original backyard fighter. So I mean, at any given time, I don't care where it's at. And like I said, we're from the same kind of like the same background. So if it had to be in a backyard, it had to be here in the garage or a living room or at a show, it doesn't matter.
You just want to fight him?
I just want to fight, yeah, just because he's trying to claim a name that's not his.
You think it's gonna happen? You guys are gonna fight?
I don't think so. I don't think it will never happen, because it should have happened already. I mean, it's like I said, you can find stuff from me from the internet from like '94 if you really, you know, from wrestling and everything else. So it's not like I'm just somebody out of nowhere talking out the side of my neck. I mean, I've done a lot, you know, I've fought and traveled and done all kinds of things. So he knows who I am, and everybody, his managers know who I am, and they've been contacted already before. And like I said, they won't let it happen. I wish it would.
What's your record?
My record right now is 62-12 right now. That's over 13 years.